Hi, and welcome to today's webinar, where you'll discover how women, including myself, regain control of food, physical and mental energy, and overall well-being. After feeling like they were addicted to food for years, they wouldn't allow themselves to keep sweets, treats, or fun foods around in the house for fear of eating them all at once because they couldn't control themselves around it. They used to think this was lack of willpower and that the next diet, more food rules, restrictions, or weight loss program would be the solution. After spending years, and a lot of them, almost half of their lives on a diet, trying to control their cravings, their appetite, and weight, eating perfectly in front of others, just to sneak forbidden foods and binge on them when nobody was around, and gain back all the weight they lost while dieting, plus more. This left them feeling frustrated, drained, and wondering, what's wrong with me? Because it seems like everyone else, especially on social media, have the whole thing figured out. They can eat clean, healthy, and stay fit by counting calories, eating less, and moving more. They make it look so easy, but nobody seems to understand how tough this really is. We go back to promising ourselves, this time I'll be good and I'll stick to my diet. But how many times have you said these exact words only to find yourself messing up again and saying, oh, screw it. The day is already over. The day's just ruined and I might just keep eating. But this is not your fault. It's not that you have a willpower deficiency or that something is wrong with you. To start, the food and the diet industry has designed a system to keep us coming back for more food, or back for another weight loss program. They succeed on our failure, making it almost impossible to stick to a healthy lifestyle. And in our efforts to find a solution, we try diet after diet or meal plan that leave us more confused and overwhelmed by all the conflicted information about nutrition and health. We feel like we have to cut out all our favorite foods just to keep a healthy weight. And we keep wondering, what's the best diet? Many of us, including my past clients, were sick and tired of this and constantly thinking about food and fighting cravings and letting the scale decide if it was going to be a good or a bad day, which is exhausting. This creates so much anxiety in life to the point that most of us chose to skip birthdays, parties, date nights, and avoid going on trips for feeling like we were addicted to food because we couldn't control ourselves and people would be judging us. And now they finally stop losing control around food. They feel at ease with life and look forward to summer and holiday events with friends and family. They recognize fullness and hunger cues, having natural control over food and knowing exactly when to stop eating, leaving food on their plate, or saying no to dessert and really mean it. Or they prefer sharing dessert with their partners because they are already satisfied instead of avoiding them and triggering a binge later. They are having more mental energy and capacity because the thoughts of food are no longer consuming their whole life and are able to keep up with kids and finish their to-do list. All this is possible without having to starve yourself for weeks and then thinking, oh, I've been so good this week. I deserve to treat myself. And then buy your favorite cupcakes or cookies or pizza and keep eating for days, feeling disappointed because you keep seeing the numbers on the scale go up and having to start all over again. Without promising yourself every Monday, this time I'll stick to my diet, or restrictive diets, counting calories, controlling portions, avoiding Starbucks, or hiding your favorite snacks and ice cream for fear of eating them all at once. Or those excessive workouts, low carb diets, or juice cleanse, which is what I used to do, leaving me dizzy, cranky, and with no energy. And honestly, are just impossible to stick to because they leave you with more cravings and in a bad mood. And also without relying on willpower because we already know this doesn't take you anywhere. So you can look forward to date nights and try that cute Italian restaurant and enjoy some delicious pasta without having to skip meals the next day or worry about how to make up for eating dessert. Have your favorite foods and snacks at home and not eat them all at once. Go to your pantry, snack on your favorite cookies, have one or two or even five without devouring the whole box. Have time and mental energy to take on that hobby that you always wanted to try. Focus on the things that matter most in life. Be home alone and relaxed instead of being an all-you-can-eat trigger. Be the good example and role model you want to be for your kids and break that cycle in your family. And regain control over your food, your health, and well-being. So you are in the right place if you struggle with binge eating, if you feel like you cannot trust yourself on having your favorite foods at home for fear that you will eat them all at once. And when you do, you eat too much to the point that it makes you sick. And you decide to do a cleanse or skip meals the next day or even weeks. If you're constantly thinking about food, always looking for the healthiest recipes and worrying about what the next meal will be, if it's going to be a good or a bad one in your book. If you emotionally eat and after work or dropping the kids off, you drive out of your way to get cake pops or taquitos, eat them in the car, hide the receipt, and trash from your partner and family so no one suspects you're being bad or using DoorDash and Uber Eats more than you would like to admit to get your cravings delivered in under 1 hour. If you want to feel good in your skin, but so far you've lost weight just to gain it back plus more in the following months or even weeks. If you've tried every single diet and now all the contradicting rules, all the restrictions and doing the math and adding calories in your head have left you in fear of going out with friends or date nights because that would mean extra calories for you. Or the diets, meal plans aren't working anymore. And you are letting food make all the decisions for you, paralyzing you and controlling your life. You are in the right place if you're physically, mentally, and emotionally tired and drained of dieting. So if you already have tried restrictive diets that are impossible to stick to for more than a few weeks, like keto or vegan, especially when it's the holiday season, or did the cabbage, potato, or apple diet, or even juicing, if you cut out all carbs, sweets, bread, pasta, and all your favorite foods just to find yourself fighting those cravings, if you bought expensive meal delivery plans and making all the healthy recipes you can find on Pinterest and social media so you can eat clean, but you end up spending even more money on food on top of the delivery service. Or if you tried a lifestyle change and doing intermittent fasting only to find that it's very hard for you to wait till noon so you can eat something, and then find yourself binging, feeling awful, but you do it all over again the next day. If you hired a health coach who did a great job helping you lose a few pounds and swap recipes with healthier ingredients, but didn't really address your emotional and personal relationship with food, or got a gym membership, even a personal trainer with sessions to motivate you and push you to lose the weight you gained after your last diet. But now you're feeling tired and even more hungry and with more cravings, creating even a bigger disaster. Aren't all these solutions giving you everything you don't want? I want you to meet Emily. She spent years in a vicious cycle of binging, then purging. She was constantly losing and gaining weight. She even went on an apple diet where she was only allowed to eat 500 calories a day, mostly from apples. And of course, she lost 30 pounds. But soon after, she gained back almost 40. When she reached out to me, we immediately started implementing a personalized approach, making sure to include her favorite foods. We addressed her emotional connection to food and worked on her nutrition needs and habits. Since the last time I talked to her, she hasn't binged or purged once. She's so confident about her food choices and so much that her health and nutrition are better than ever before. And now she was able to get pregnant and very soon will be welcoming her first baby into this world. So my promise to you for this video is that I'll show you exactly how my clients and myself got control of our food, nutrition, and well-being, and waved goodbye impossible to follow diets, and finally got out of that dieting binging cycle. That means no more missing out in life because you're on a diet, doing a cleanse or fasting, or relying on willpower to eat the same boring meals, or doing a detox, tracking calories or macros, or doing excessive workouts without feeling anxious about the next meal or shame for eating a piece of cake, a cookie, or nachos. No more fad diets, just to wait for the other shoe to drop and say, what the hell, I'll just get back on track tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes, and no more restrictions. In the next 40 to 45 minutes, you'll discover why your diet is failing you, not the other way around. I will tell you the 3 mistakes that are preventing you from feeling in control of food and health. And I'll show you simple shifts to end that yo-yo dieting, binging, and overeating. And I'll share with you the steps you can take to make this a permanent solution. And I will explain why everything you've been told to do to make it better is actually making it worse. But before we get into this, let me tell you a little bit about me. Hi, this is me. I'm Claudia. I was born and raised in Guatemala. I moved to the United States in 2013 with my husband, who is also from Guatemala. I started my first diet wanting to lose a few pounds. And that was the beginning of my dieting journey. Since then, I have restricted all kinds of foods and found myself starting over again every Monday. I even went raw vegan, claiming it was a lifestyle change. But in reality, it was a way for me to keep restricting. I would eat perfectly in front of everybody and then binge at home. And many times I purged. And then I would do it all over again. I gained even more weight in the following days. I struggled with emotional eating, binging in secret, and an eating disorder. I was constantly fasting and doing detox just to lose weight. I was trapped in this cycle of losing and gaining weight. I went to therapy, nutritionist, I went to the gym, I hired coaches, and none of those really helped me. Food was my comfort and my punishment. That's when I decided to change something. I had to find a way to end feeling like a failure, feeling like I was a slave to my cravings and food, and get control over my life and my physical and mental health. And I wanted to do all this without having to throw food away to avoid eating it, just to fish it out of the trash can and eat it later, which I know it sounds disgusting, but it's what I used to do. Or quit sugar, or cut out carbs to leave me miserable and with more cravings that led me to binge on cupcakes and donuts for days, without dragging myself to the gym in the morning to make up for what I ate the day before and do workouts I really hate, without having to spend more money on meal plans or rely on the same boring meals every day, aka your traditional chicken, broccoli, and brown rice, just so I could eat clean. Meet Shelly. Shelly had a sweet tooth, especially late at night. So she was constantly doing diets, but these took her nowhere. She thought it was lack of discipline, so she tried to control food more and more. But her cravings were out of control. She was constantly on a binge restrict cycle and feeling ashamed because she wanted to be a good example to her two kids. When we started working together, we discovered that she was not only working against her body's natural rhythm, but also she had a deep emotional connection to some foods. From there, we could get the root of the problem. At the end of the program, she felt like a normal person around food. She didn't have to sacrifice the moments with her kids and family because of food. Now, how I found the fix? Well, I studied and read all about it. I have studied this for years. I completed certifications on this specific topic, and I have a background on psychology, which helped me understand this even in a deeper level. With that, I was able to heal my own relationship with food after many years of trial and error until I finally overcame my binge eating, emotional eating, and this yo-yo dieting. And I made it my mission to help women struggling with the same challenges and reclaim their power back so they can enjoy a healthy life. And if you want to know why the things you've tried so far haven't worked, okay, here it is. First, everything you've tried before relies on changing its external conditions, like relying on willpower. And that's exhausting. That's like holding your breath again and again. Your body eventually needs to breathe. You're focusing on the wrong strategies. You're only seeing the tip of the iceberg and not seeing what's underwater, what's really happening. You're not addressing the root of the problem, your personal and emotional connection to food, how you identify yourself, and why it's triggering you and showing up this way. But I want to say something and I want to make this clear because it's very important. This is not your fault. Food and diet industry has designed to make it feel like you can't get out of this hamster wheel. So Let's start by talking about the three most common mistakes or the hard ways to get where you want to be and how they are affecting your body and your metabolism. Mistake number one, eat less, move more. This is one of the most popular quote unquote solutions, especially for someone who's looking to lose weight. This means going on a diet and living in a caloric deficit. Now, the problem with this is that when you undereat, your body thinks there is no food out there. So the body uses the stored energy in form of fat. And by the time your diet is over, the body immediately replenishes, immediately goes and gains weight, just to make sure your body has enough energy for the next crisis. And this happens every time you go on a diet, causing that yo-yo dieting effect and making it harder to lose weight the next time. Mistake number two, excessive exercise. This is another popular suggestion out there. Some people say it doesn't really matter what you eat as long as you get to burn it at the gym. But honestly, this only activates the stress response in the body. The body literally feels like you're running for your life. And when you're trying to survive, the body automatically stops building muscle, which is your fat burning tissue, and diminishes fat loss, messing up your metabolism. And if you're running, this can also damage your joints. Mistake number three, relying on willpower. This is causing more problems than solving anything. And this can describe any diet where you limit or deny yourself food or a food group. It also implies avoiding the foods you love, like pizza, Starbucks, wine, or chocolates. Now, this creates a lot of anxiety around food and also adds a lot of self-imposed stress in form of guilt, irritability, difficulty concentrating, and fatigue. Not to mention that because you're denying yourself certain food groups, you are creating a nutritional imbalance. And willpower is like a muscle. Yes, you can exercise it, you can work it out, but if you overwork it, it will break. It's like holding a glass of water with your arm extended. The first few minutes, you'll be fine, but after a couple of hours, you'll be ready to give up. So I developed the thriving method, and this fixed every problem my clients were having with losing control around food, the late snacking, the messing up with the diet, the needing to start over the next day, and even the eating in secret. Personally, I was finally able to be more present at family and friends events. I could finally celebrate birthdays and enjoy a piece of cake without losing control and going on an eating spree. I was able to think about food only when I'm hungry and for planning purposes. I can keep chocolates, cookies, and ice cream at home, and they would last weeks, sometimes even months. Now I'm feeling more confident in my skin and realizing that my clothes are fitting better. And that was even after I had very limited physical activity after having an elbow surgery and a hysterectomy in the same year. Now, it took me years to get to this point because I was focusing on the wrong strategies and making the same old mistakes. And this is what most of us focus on. So these are our conditions, our external environment, like clearing out the pantry, taking out sugar, setting out our workout clothes for the next day, or the diet that I decided to do, hoping they could change my behavior. These are our habits, rituals, like changing what we eat, swapping ingredients in our everyday cooking, doing certain workouts, removing carbs, or putting less food on our plate. Now, this here creates change, but it's not permanent. Next is the level of skills. These are the behaviors that we adapt to, things that we learn, like strength training, learning how to cook, or coming from dieting world, weighing our food, tracking calories, or controlling portions. Now, some skills are great and others not so great. And this is the how we try to achieve change. Then the next step is the beliefs and values. This is the way we think. This is what you tell yourself day in and day out. When you eat something bad and you say to yourself, oh, I already screw up, I might just keep eating, you feel judgment and shame. These thoughts are dictating your actions, which is continue to eat. And these actions immediately hit your behavior, which are overeating and binging. But when you already address your beliefs about, let's say, cookies, your thoughts will be something like, oh, there's nothing wrong with eating a couple of cookies today. I might have some later in the day or tomorrow, and you will be able to move on. Those thoughts change your actions and results, which is you eating like a normal person and continue with your life. And at the last level is identity. This is who you believe you are. If you are a parent, or identify yourself as a perfectionist, or as a binge eater, a people pleaser, someone who cannot have one cookie without eating the whole box because that's what you're telling yourself, as someone who has no control around food, that is exactly what will happen every time you have cookies in front of you. Now, conditions, behaviors, and skills, this is where most people spend their time on. This is what most programs and coaches focus on, which is not bad, but they're missing the transformational piece. Unless you work on these levels of transformation, you won't believe things can be different for you, but they can. And I'll show you how with the thriving method. And here are the 3 simple steps. Step number 1 is the belief shift. Here, we lay a new foundation for permanent change and success. You gain a new perspective and a way of seeing yourself, food and body, and get to see what's possible for you. So no more labeling ourselves as someone who can control ourselves around food or someone who can change. We explore and update your beliefs and values. We build on personal strengths, likes, and lifestyle to create long-lasting habits. Here is where you boost your confidence around food to give you natural control around it. It works because transformation happens from the inside out. When you change your belief and values, everything else changes. It's like a ripple effect. Your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings create your actions or inactions, and those create your behaviors and your results. You will change the way you see food. And food or the number on the scale won't dictate your mood or what you should or shouldn't eat that day. You will be able to be home alone and not binge. Step 2, body trust. And here's where we address nutrition. We start working following your body's natural rhythm. Here, you get easy eating strategies so you can spend more time creating memories with your family and friends. You learn how to listen to your hunger and fullness cues. along with an easy to follow guide to create balanced meals that regulate hormones and restore your metabolism, which can help you with dropping dress sizes without starving yourself. We end that physical restrictions of food and focus on nutrition. Here, you'll learn how to choose foods that naturally keep cravings under control without relying on willpower. It works because we say goodbye to unrealistic diets that only broke that sacred trust between you and your body by forbidding, removing, and limiting food. So we create a realistic plan for you. We are removing all the guesswork and confusion by all the conflicted information about nutrition and health. You will finally stop wondering if it's going to be a good or a bad day based on what you eat. You will find what feels authentic and what works best for you. Being able to split dessert at dinner and not going overboard. Step 3, emotional connection to food. Here, we physically and emotionally listen to your body. We address your relationship with food. Focus on how food makes you feel instead of what you should or shouldn't eat, or putting more rules and restrictions in place, giving you a structure that makes it easy for you to keep your favorite foods around for days, even weeks, without losing control. And you get tools to process emotions better, to help you deal with difficult situations, so your success is not determined by things you cannot control, but on your own terms. It works because we're moving from bullying yourself from a place where you're confident to eat for joy, energy, and health without losing control. Because we address that emotional connection you have with food. Your emotions are no longer calling the shots, creating lasting changes rather than having to start a diet again on Monday. So these are the 3 steps of the thriving method: the belief or mindset shift, the body trust and nutrition, and addressing your emotional connection to food. When put together, you are able to stop thinking constantly about food, and you get to enjoy food without losing control and without shame and guilt. We move from trying to walk our way up this ladder to creating a ripple effect. You will learn how to really overcome food challenges. You will relearn all the things you've forgotten to do thanks to diet industry. Listening to your body, listening to your hunger and fullness cues, dealing with your own emotions, and doing more of the things you enjoy in life. When we do diet after diet, we kind of lose a little bit of ourselves and break that sacred trust we had with our own body. But I promise you, you know how to do this. We just have forgotten. You'll learn what you actually need to do to overcome the dieting cycle, the overeating, and the binge and emotional eating. This is Stacy. She described herself as addicted to sugar. She did many diets, but her go-to was the potato diet. She would only eat potatoes, boiled potatoes, roasted, air-fried, with no oil, and maybe a side of selected veggies. She would do this for as long as a month in order to reset her body and after and before holidays and summer. Of course, she would lose weight, but in between seasons, she binged on Starbucks and sweets and gained all the weight back. So when we started working together, our focus was on rebuilding trust with her body and reframing her relationship with food and body. At the end of our work together, she was able to stop eating, check in with herself, and realizing that she was full. She was no longer binging, and she said, "You taught me how to love myself, and that is the greatest gift ever." People tell me all the time, I'm afraid I will fail again. I'm just addicted to food. If I'm not on a diet, I will just eat junk food all the time. Or this is just who I am. I tried too many times before. This just won't happen for me. I will never ever get not to be on a diet. But you can end that generational cycle of struggling with weight, not being able to stop eating, counting calories, weighing your food, thinking about the next diet or detox. You can find your healthy, natural weight because when you heal your relationship with food, you find your natural appetite and you will stop overeating and the weight loss will happen without stress. My clients and I have used this exact method to end binge eating and overeating and have natural control over our food. And now they no longer have late snacking or binge late at night. They are able to process emotions instead of turning to food. They eat until comfortably full, leaving food on their plate and pack it for later. Even fall in love with movement and exercise because it's no longer a chore. It's a privilege. It's a gift. And they reach their natural healthy weight. In the last 30 days, how many of them did you spend thinking and worrying about food when you should have been spending more time with your family and creating memories, taking on that new hobby you always wanted to learn, maybe dancing lessons, swimming, or going on that trip you always wanted to go, but you haven't because you haven't lost X amount of pounds. You should have been thriving, going out with friends, celebrating birthday, experiencing life, and creating memories. If in the last 30 days, 25 of them you were promising yourself to be good and stick to your diet, that means that 300 days over the last 12 months were wasted because food calls the shots in your life. But you should be living every day at peace with food and your body. That is what you deserve, and that is your birthright. All because you didn't have the right tools and support? So how much time and energy is it costing you not to be free using the thriving method? I know you want to put an end of this. Find a solution for good. And I know that because I used to be you. I used to be exactly where you are right now. And you can hope it will go away by itself. I did that too. And that only made me stay in that dark place where I was for much longer. I thought maybe if I try just one more diet and stick to it, everything would be different. But honestly, it felt like I was constantly banging my head against the wall again and again. So I asked myself this simple question. If the diets and restrictions I used led me to binge eat, to gain more weight and mess up my metabolism, well, then it's time to try a new strategy. Instead of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And here is how we can fix this for you starting today. So you can get to eat like a normal person without losing control over food and having control of your health and your future. It doesn't matter if you feel like you failed too many times before. You didn't. All those things led you here today, and you are exactly where you need to be right now. So let's stop thinking about the past and bringing the same energy to your present and recreating that same scenario in your life and creating your future like that. So today, I invite you to start a new journey, not another diet. It's time to let the past be in the past and not let it define you or hold you back. When you move past overeating, yo-yo dieting, and binge eating, and you finally heal your relationship with food, the rest of your life elevates in ways you cannot imagine. Some of my past clients have changed careers. They cut out toxic relationships, found a new passion, and they are truly living their best life. So I would love to give you the opportunity to leverage what I've learned through my process of wasting time in solutions and having done every mistake and everything the wrong way and learning the hard way. So you can actually look forward to date nights again and eat with confidence for true health and joy while finding your healthy weight. Think about food only when you're hungry or for planning purposes. Be more present with your family and at events. Share dessert with your partner and not overeat. And know what makes your body feel best physically and mentally. No longer thinking about the next diet or detox. So you can look good and eat your cake too. Having helped many women do the same, find peace and freedom with food, I would like to set up a 100% completely free how to regain control over food using my thriving method call. This is a conversation to see if this would be a right fit for you. I will personally put together a complete plan for you so you can overcome binge eating and overeating for good. So you can rebuild trust with your body, regulate hormones, and restore your metabolism. And I will show you how to use this personalized plan to fast track yourself right to eating without losing control. You will leave this call with the exact system my clients and I have used to find food freedom. And at the end of the call, I will have an offer for you. I will ask you if you would like my help and guidance implementing your plan. You can simply answer yes or no. However, I only bring a select few clients each month and help them transform their lives using my thriving method. The best thing that can happen is you love the plan I created for you and you want us to work together. So taking this call is the single most important thing you can do right now to end binge eating and overeating once and for all. And as I said before, this is your chance to start over. Not another diet, but a life where your past no longer defines you and holds you back. Remember, there's never a right time to do all the things we want. We can use all the excuses in the book. I'm just too busy. I'll just try one more time on my own, or I just don't have the time right now. But when we wait for the circumstances to change, nothing will ever change. The difference between you and the women I told you about who transformed their lives is that they decided to make a change. It's time to take control of your life, your health, and future. Remove the shame and guilt from eating and start nurturing your body and mind. So right now, you should be seeing a button on the screen. Click there, and that will take you to my application form to schedule a call. I will personally call you and give you the thriving method so you can end binge eating and overeating. And in case you don't see that button, because technology sometimes plays tricks on me, you can always type in your browser talktoclaudia.com. That's talk, the number 2, Claudia.com. And I hope you like stories because here comes another one. This is Crystal. She had a complicated relationship with food. She's a homemaker and does homeschooling with her 3 kids. And suddenly she started feeling like she didn't have enough energy throughout the day. I noticed that she started gaining more and more weight. And because she lives a very active life, and in the past she dealt with different health conditions, we focus on her body needs and lifestyle. These really help her restore her metabolism. And at the end of the program, she had no more late night snacking, went down 2 pound sizes, and her confidence level improved so much that her husband started noticing the changes halfway through the program. And now she says that food isn't a burden anymore. It is a blessing. This is Anna. She spent years in a binging cycle. She went to see dietitians, but it made her feel like she was the problem. So when we started working together, we definitely addressed her emotional connection to food. And now her binge eating is 100% under control. Last time I checked on her, she's now enjoying an active life. She fell in love with dancing and she keeps dropping dress sizes. This is Megan. She was skipping meals for long periods of time, not knowing how that was affecting her body. And she found herself binging late at night. After working together, she developed a positive attitude towards cooking, and now she gets to enjoy food without guilt. This is also possible for you too. Gain self-confidence and feel good in your skin. Be more present with your family and at events. Eat until you're comfortably full and be able to stop eating with ease. Be home alone without being an all-you-can-eat trigger. And you can reach your healthy weight too. This is the time to say yes to yourself and apply for a call with me and get your personalized plan. So thank you so much for staying until the end of this webinar. And thank you for listening to your intuition and registering for this class. I'm looking forward to talking to you and helping you regain control of food, your physical and emotional well-being. Talk to you soon.